Hello, this is Brian Whitten and ETR. How are you all today? I'm making another video, albeit I uploaded another one yesterday called It's Harder Than It Looks, talking about how hard it is to actually make movement through space, either interstellar or certainly intergalactic when it comes to that. Before I move on, we look at the image that's on the screen. This is a rock I have picked up. Actually, it's the last rock I picked up. I haven't even put this under a microscope at this present point in time because of the thoughts that I've had in relation to the video I just uploaded and the bit of research I needed. As usual, I will fix up a mistake. Well, it's not a mistake, it's probably a misunderstanding. Now, before I go on with that, I would like you to take a very close look at that rock. It has a story to tell. It's white for a reason. Could have been made out of any other colour material. It is white. It is pretty much the colour of the Sphinx for a very good reason. I won't tell you what I see, but you've got an evolutionary path in front of you there. I'll just let you ponder what its real meaning is. And you will even see to the left side of the rock, well, beings you may be a little bit more familiar with. That would be Caucasians. But anyway, whilst you ponder and look at that rock, I wanted to discuss with you and fix up one or two things that if I said yesterday that there was any mistake or misunderstanding in a video, it would be the 13 million years. What I want to discuss with you just very quickly today is, first of all, the placement of this pillar in Utah and what was directly above it, which is this mountain ridge with the being on it and a dog above the being, is telling us that from that point down to the Roswell incident, it was 666 miles. This is in millions of years we're talking here, and they're telling us there the development from, domesticating another animal and getting to the point of interstellar travel. And I'm talking about a mass product here. It's not one-off. It's a ability of people to travel between each of the planets in a binary star system in our original galaxy, certainly not this one, that it took that long. Now, if we measure the distance down, as you can see, to the Tropic of Cancer, we actually have a measurement there of about 698, 700. And really what we're doing there is we are going down, so we're going to subtract. That makes most logical sense here. If we're going to move down, we're taking away, we are subtracting. So we subtract 666 from the approximately 700. We've got a number of about 32 to 33 million years. You might say 33 if you wanted to. It's irrelevant when you're talking so many millions of years ago. When we come over to Australia now and look at Uluru and its distance from the Tropic of Capricorn, the other line that is now created by the tilting axis of Earth, we are now seeing a measurement of 210 kilometres. Well, we know what's a zero worth? It's worth nothing, so we get rid of that and we've got 21 left. So we're actually saying in the 21, and we're now going upwards with that 21 to get to the Tropic of Capricorn, that we are saying it was 21 of those 33 million years was the development in time it took us to get to this galaxy. That's why it's measured to that line when the problem arose. And the problem arose, as we've already discussed, in this galaxy on our second planet, on the second star we went to. Now, I have mentioned to you about the fact that we went through this galaxy and found nobody, and therefore that was our rush to populate. That is actually probably incorrect. It is partially correct, but not the most driving force. I want you to look at this inserted image. This is real. It's actually been seen by NASA, and to be honest with you, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll say NASA just lie all the time. In this instance, they didn't. This is a real thing. It's a craft. It's we are told it's 10 times the size of Earth. It is the very same cube type thing that the people in Mecca walk around. They know it's real. It's a very real craft. It is how we actually came to the galaxy we're in now. I would expect, if you imagine the size of it, that there were many, many, many millions of people on it. And it certainly was all of us. If our time in the other galaxy had already been spent populating star, building red dwarfs, we would have been building planets here eventually. That's the reality here. We were that smart. We didn't have the population growth issues. We're already told that by the fact that when we leave Earth here, the people that stay on it are breeding every 5th month or every 10th month. Those, and you could say, well, that's unfair, but the ones that are breeding every 10th month, their gestation periods are far shorter than the ones that are breeding every 5th month. So this is how we're seeing an even population of people left on Earth here. We're getting that lesson for a reason. I would expect the following is what happened. So when we get through a point of time where we've spent nearly 20 million years in our galaxy of origin populating star system after star system, and we get far, far, far smarter than many, many millions of years, we get to the ability of building planets, building dwarf stars, manipulating the magnetic fields of stars by building mass within each of the rings of rotations and all such things, and the lessons we've had till this point. We are a bunch of very, very smart people. We would stand alongside each other being very much equal. So it is very more than likely that when we look back at the size of this craft, being 10 times the size of Earth, that it would have had many, many billions of people on it, but the ratio of people on it and the different types of people like ourselves here, I'm talking about Africans, Asians, Caucasians, Middle Easterns, all of us. We would have all been pretty much on a fair and even ratio of people that were on that craft when we went on our first galactic trip and came to this galaxy. However, the ratios of people, and that's why I believe we get this lesson in the breakup of elements, right? The further we are from a star and the longer we are away in the age of Earth. That's why I made that video, is Earth 200,000 years old? Because we are getting told and taught about degradation of elements. We are in essence exactly that, all of us, so we've all got into this craft, pretty even ratios. We've gone across from one galaxy to another, but on our arrival here, we have lost certain people, have lost very big numbers. In other words, the ratios they left with, the ratios they arrived with is vastly different. And now we are now in another galaxy. We create our first binary star system, but we have an irregularity in the ratios of people, and that I believe is the most driving force for the creation of a single star system and the manipulation as it was to step outside the boundary of what was our normal life, our normal breeding cycles of once or twice a year, or the seasonal breeding cycles up until that point we'd always had and we'd always stuck to, because we didn't really need to go and do anything about it. But here we are now in a new galaxy where the ratios of people brought across, and you can't go back and get more people because you've got the problem. You can't go, oh, let's go into craft and go back and get more of our guys that died in the transition here. It's an impossibility to get around that way. So you would have had to have come up with a solution here, and there would have been people that were the ones that were cut down in their numbers. And I don't mean to sound, like I said, we all stood even, and at this point in time in our development, we would all have stood even, and I would expect that there were people in the people that are, lesser numbers, say we have the right to have more people. We have as equal right to you to have as equal amount of people in a given area, and that may be exactly why the process of this manipulation of one star to do all of the requirements of high-speed breeding, in other words, breeding every day of the week or every month of the year, and step outside that boundary. I'm certain that's what we're getting told here, and that was why we had the problem. It's exactly why we went about, this creation of and manipulating the stars to allow those breeding processes to change, and might find that what they did was design a planet very much similar to what Earth is going to be doing, standing straight, going around the sun, more than one planet, possibly 4, but there were one planet where they didn't. There was where they created an environment within a field of the sun that allowed for multiple, season, all year round breeding or whatever, to recoup the numbers of the people that lost in the transition or movement from the other galaxy. I'm expecting that's to be exactly what happened. The only other thing I would like to add at this point, and I know I just see this as a lesson, another part of the lesson is that if in actual fact we went to another galaxy, this one, we've come here to go and find life, we didn't find any, but I think we came here from another galaxy, not because we filled the other galaxy up, we would have been still breeding as we were. This is why the development and movement away is so long. It's not just because it's so difficult, it's just that our birth rates were nowhere near what we're getting, what's happening on the Earth at this present point in time. It just doesn't happen otherwise, So I would expect that one of the parts of the message, and it's very, very important, I have the opinion from the message, and at least the way I've read it to this point, that the movement through the stars in our original galaxy, that only people we ever run into was people that came from the original solar system, and those that have been spawned from it. They live in other galaxies now, or they live in other solar systems now, all across what was our original galaxy, and more than so likely here as well. We're still talking about a possibility of our being in this galaxy now for probably somewhere between 10 and 12 million years. So I would expect that what we're seeing, also on the rock, that if we look at it, we're seeing here more than likely the development of Caucasians from the ages of the dinosaurs through to us and then beyond. The guy in the middle is probably what we look like now, with the guys on the left hand side are what we look like now. So they have evolved in this system here for another 12 million years. They look vastly different than us, but they stem from us. Their ancestors, they'll come from, all come from the people that came from the other galaxy. So I would expect that we are seeing divisions of the races again now. I probably expect that that's going to be the way it is. That'll be pure blood, and this is why our transitional movement from one galaxy to another copped it. There were some people, as pure blood people, we didn't interbreed. We didn't interbreed at the time, so that is why there were some losses in some races, whilst others didn't have anywhere near as lost. They might have only lost 5%, where others may have lost 90%. This might be why we see the English on such a small block of land in England when you compare Africa or Australia and so on. So there were people that may have lost very large numbers, and they sought to remedy the issue by restocking or creating this new design to enable them to get their stocks up in the new galaxy. Certainly wouldn't be making sense to go back and come back here. So in the long run though, I do see that the only people they've ever met, even when they got here, there was no other intelligent hominid life, anywhere. I'm not saying there aren't animals that aren't smart and aren't quick on the taker, but they've never ever found, ever, in all of the travel since the original solar system, in the original galaxy, intelligent hominid life. Only those that have spawned from us. I could be wrong there, but I just see that in the development and design of this system, and the way the moon is met, the creation of the star signs. Each and every birth is met at least 1 out of 3 or 4 years, depending on what cycle you're on. It seems to me that that's the case. That's all I really wanted to add today. So I just, like I said, it's probably a world record, shortest video I've ever made, but I'm pretty sure it's probably one of the most important. Have a lovely day, everybody. This is Brian Whitten and ET Art. Bye bye.